Hi everyone, welcome to Mompreneur Space live show, and this is episode 71. I'm Kenneth Chu, the host and also the author of Mother Industrialist, Perfecting the Balance Between Motherhood and Business Success. So for me, I've been running my own digital marketing agency for the past 5 years, KC Creative Marketing. And in this new season, I will still be interviewing successful mompreneurs every Monday, and I hope that you will continue to inspire and motivate more mothers who are running their business or wanted to start their own. So during this live show, you can start posting your question in the comments and we will answer them at the end of the show. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this new episode. And in this new episode, we will be talking about the top 3 tips on how to have meaningful conversation with your children. So today I have 2 really amazing mompreneurs. In fact, I knew both of them about a year ago, and both of them were attending my mompreneurship workshop 4.0. During this workshop, they have this idea, and this idea they have grew it, and in less than 6 months they have launched the business, and in another 6 months they have created, they've been featured into local medias, newspaper, and I'm very proud of them, because this is what I always wanted to do, to really hope that it will be able to bring out the goodness in them, or the potential, or something that they are passionate about. It's all about the passion, it's about for a greater purpose. And for them, they are the co-founders of Love Bonds. One of them is a creative director, a wedding photographer, and a mompreneur with 2 beautiful daughters, aged 4 and 2. And the other one, she's an experienced qualified educator who recently resigned to be a mompreneur with 2 handsome boys, aged 7 and 3. So without further, let me welcome Michelle and Serene. Hi, Michelle and Serene. Hi, hello.
Hi.
Good to have both of you here. Finally.
Nice to be here too.
Maybe you can say hi to the audience first. Maybe you can pop a hi.
Hi. Okay, hi, I'm Serene. I was the person that he mentioned about. I was an educator. I've been a teacher for about 11, 12 years. Yeah, but I recently resigned because
Okay, Serene, maybe you can choke first, because there's a tradition in every episode that every guest has to answer the question of the day before we can officially kickstart with the show. Okay,
sure.
I know. Hold your horses. Okay, so this is like the first hurdle, first test. Okay, so every guest has to pose a question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So before we can start, both of you have to answer this question of the day posted by the previous guest. So then we can officially kickstart with the show. Okay, so are you ready to answer the question of the day posted by the previous guest?
Yes.
Okay, so the question of the day posted by the previous guest is, what are the 3 things that you will do for your live stream content? Okay, I repeat again the question of the day. What are the 3 things that you will do for your live stream content? So spend some time to think about it while I go onto Facebook Live to see if you are live successfully, and maybe to say hi to some of our friends or mothers that's tuning in. Okay, then I'll come back to you, to both of you, all right? Okay. So in this episode, in fact, I have a new facelift, especially for, and this is also the first time I'm interviewing 2 persons at the same time. So really excited and nervous at the same time, because everything there's always a first time. Okay, so maybe this episode might run a bit longer, because I have to get all the juices, all the inspiring story from both of you. So are both of you ready? So maybe we can start with Serene to answer the question of the day, which is, what are the 3 things that you will do for your live stream content? Or maybe either one of you will represent. Anyone? Serene or Michelle? Or both? You have
Serene. Okay, so well, in response to the questions, well, exactly, we are already in the process of coming out with our webinar. So the content we'll be sharing about is really always something that we are very passionate about, which is to have meaningful conversations with our children. And there's so much that we can talk about for this, because there's so much that we can learn in connecting with our kids, in asking good questions, even in probing and in going deep and connecting with our children. So that's something that we'll be doing in our content, and we have always been doing even in our Instagram and our Facebook. So connect with us there. You will be able to hear a lot from us about meaningful conversations with our children.
That's good. That's good. So so that will wrap up all the three things, right?
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Michelle, anything to add on?
I think that's all. We can continue.
So both of you already discussed before this, right? I know, and for all the audience that's watching, right? In fact, both of them are the first guests, right? That really did their homework and check it out. Check my that means to really watch through the last podcast, last Facebook Live with the previous guest. That's why they seems to be prepared with the answer. And now we can officially kickstart with the show. So maybe maybe one of you can just say hi to Jolene, and also for those who are shy.
Hello, Jolene.
Hi, Jolene.
And for those who are shy and have not say hi yet, maybe you can tell them to maybe say hi if you guys have any question about today's topic. So today's topic is about the top 3 tips on how you can have meaningful conversation with your children. So for parents that are watching, if you have any questions for Michelle and Serene regarding today's topic, you can always post in the comments and we will answer them at the end of the show before we wrap up. Okay, so Serene, say hi. We have this I do not know how to pronounce this. This is Dini Kang. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, for the parents who are tuning in, I think we really, really want to look forward to hearing from you. Michelle and myself are also very nervous. I mean, this is one of our first few times doing a live show. So if you have any questions or just want to say hello to specific ones of us, or have any hearts that you want to send us, any questions you want to ask, please ask. We will love to hear from you. We will love to respond to the best of our ability here.
Yes, because today's is our conversation. So we really hope, really wish that you guys who are tuning in live, you can have this conversation with us. You can post the questions, and in the midst of it, if we happens to be able to read it, because today I have 2 guests, so really want to take out a lot of things from them, and 2 guests meaning that double the value. So really hope that you guys will enjoy this. At the same time, also to let us know what question you have regarding about conversation with your children, because all of us know that like for me, I'm a parent, I'm a dad with an 11-year-old. So as my daughter grew up, there's always hard to converse. Like the topics have been different. So maybe before we move on, maybe can both of you do a short introduction of yourself? I've done the brief introduction, but I believe that there's a lot of audience that is listening to you for the first time. Maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself. What were you doing before you start Love Bonds? And what are you currently doing? And what is where are you from? Because we do have audience that's listening and watching from all around the world. And also for those who are watching the replay. So maybe we can start with, who wants to give it? Start first?
Yes. I think Serene can go first.
Okay.
You spoke already, you asked her to go first. Okay, so
Okay,
Serene.
hi. Hi, I'm Serene. I have 2 sons, aged 3 and 7. I was an educator. I was teaching in a junior college for about 11 to 12 years. So I recently resigned. My main motivation of resigning is really because of my son, who is going to primary 1 this year. And I know that he ends school at only 1, and I want to be able to spend meaningful time with him in the afternoons. And all the while, I have been am extremely passionate about connecting with children, even when I was a teacher and all. So when I know that my kids are going to be having a half day and I want to be there for him, I want to be there for both my boys since they are at their impressionable age. Hence, I took a big leap of faith and I resigned from a job that I really am passionate in. I miss my students a lot, but at the same time, I know that in this season of my life, I'm giving my best and my all for my children, and in this work and in this piece of content that I'm producing that I know is very meaningful to parents out there. So yes, I'm from Singapore. Well, a little bit about me. I am introverted, but I'm a learned extrovert. I laugh at the silliest things. I'm a Korean variety fanatic. So yes, on to you, Michelle.
Okay. My background was actually I was a graphic designer like long time ago because I graduated from LaSalle with studying visual communications. So I was graphic designer for like I think many years. Then I was like a bit quite drained already. Yeah. Then it's during the preparation of my own wedding, then I fall in love with all the wedding details, all the beautiful things, and also discover my passion for shooting love. So that's how I started my wedding photographer journey. Yeah, after being after my wedding. Yeah. Then I really love the like to shoot the love story for different couples and like tell their stories. Yeah, and also families as well. Yeah, because all those precious moments or memories allow them to connect with their future generation. It's like 10, 20, 30 years down the road, when you look back at your photos, you can share the stories with your loved ones or your kids, you know. Yeah. Then after that, like love bonds actually came at the idea of starting love bonds came naturally for me after I became a mom. As I realized the importance of imparting good values to my children, yeah, especially in their formative years, and not just focus too much on the academic stuff. Yeah. So then, because I knew Serene, but I didn't really know like when we chat then I realized, wow, she actually specialized in character education. Yeah. So it's like, wow, I think that's something that I would want to learn as well. It's like, because I'm not a teacher, I'm just a normal mom who really want to like impart values to my child, but I don't know like where to start or how to start, or like what kind of words to say, what kind of questions to ask, you know. It's like, wow, that she's the best person, you know, I can go to. So we just chat and say, hey, I think we can actually come together and do something that to empower more parents and to help more parents like me, like to really impart like values to our children and how like to how and to see a like generation with a strong moral character compass and help them to navigate in life. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a very good short introduction of both of you. Maybe in fact I have this question that I wanted to ask but I didn't have the chance. But now since we are on live, I just want to find out, like, I knew both of you in that you guys attend my workshop last year in March. So before that, you guys do you guys have this idea already, or it was formed during the workshop? So how does it comes about the love bond ideas? So was it during the workshop or before the workshop already? You both of you have this idea that you're talking about, and yeah, maybe you can share with us.
Before the workshop, we already were in discussions. We have been, we have been friends for very long, right? So we have been, going for boutique fairs, and then, we attended a few things. And then something that prompts us back to this idea of love bonds is always the children. We are at a stage in life where both of us have 2 kids. And, both of us are in a situation where we feel strongly for wanting to impart something meaningful to our children. And so this idea of love bonds is not just a business idea. It's actually something that we are living out. It's something that we are passionate in, and presenting it to a business idea and then working on it as a business is something that we needed help in. But the idea and the creation and even the intention and motivation of it is something that is born from who we are and what we are already doing.
So it has been in discussion, been talking about it, having this idea. You are implementing it. That means you are just applying it to your children, your kids. So but it's only something that you lead by example. That means you are applying it on your daily lives with your kids. So both of you didn't have this thought of bringing it to become a business in the beginning, or you have but you do not know how to bring it across to really build it to a business. You get it?
I think we have this idea, but it's after attending your workshop, then I think it actually crystallized more, our idea better. It's like after we did the canvas model.
Correct.
It's like, oh, now we get to see a bigger picture, the overall view, how we can actually do this as a business. Yeah. Then after that, we just dive into it, just share value. Give value to our audience. To those mummies out there. So I think it's just it's a natural progression. It's like, oh wow, we can really see is this thing that actually people want, or we actually can help them. So it's very encouraging along the way. Yeah.
So would you both say that if, let's say, because you have this idea but it was not crystallized, so what if this is just what if lah. What if you never attend this workshop and this love bond ideas will be something that will be sitting on or eventually it will become a business? Do you guys ever thought of it? Or things happen for a reason that it has to be crystallized during the workshop, or it will be something that eventually both of you will start? Have you guys thought about it?
I think a lot of mini steps that we took allowed us to take, this business to a different direction. I think when we first started with the Instagrams, our first few Instagrams were really just sharing our hearts. There was no products, there was nothing that was in discussion, but we were just sharing value. And when we attend workshops, when we read more about it, when we hear more from other mompreneurs and we gain advice, that allowed us to then take even more concrete steps in the right direction for us to eventually allow Love Bonds to become what it is. It is still growing. It is still something that we are always learning and trying and applying. And so your workshop gave us a few tips on how we can take it in a slightly different direction. There are many other discussions that also bring us many other ideas, and all of this add up. So it's everything that comes together that allows us to take this in a different direction.
Okay, that's good, because like Serene, you had just pointed out something that from the initial idea, it has evolved. How it evolved is also because you are connected with the market. You're putting the things out and you're getting feedback. Because this is something that I want to share with a lot of mothers who are tuning in, who want to start a business. A lot of times, the idea always stuck in the head. It's always that there's a lot of assumption. There's always, you think that it will work for you, but will it work for others? So there's a lot of assumption. Recently, I just spoke to another mompreneur, so I shared with her the same thing. So I say that, okay, maybe we can do a survey. Maybe we can be curious about it, whether what's the market feedback is. Because I still remember the first time that we spoke, both of you, this thing will work, whatever stuff. But I said, let's be curious, let's do a survey. And both of you were surprised the outcome of the survey. So this is like I guess both of you have built love bonds to a level that I could never imagine. Because in 6 months, you started the business after the crystallization. Then after that, in 6 months, you guys had created a lot more products. And also, you guys are also being featured in local medias, into it was newspaper, then there was
Straits Times and Kiss 92.
Okay, also on radio. So the attention was there, and because this is very, very meaningful, and that was why I was very passionate, because I have not seen something like that in the market. Because I've been in the parenting industry for the past 10 over years, I've not seen something like that, and this is something that's meaningful. And it just happened that both of you have two different strengths. So what would you say that if, let's say, both of you, because both of you are good friends, so how long have you both known each other, like being friends, even like good friends? How long was that?
Actually, we are friends because our husbands are army friends.
Okay.
Yeah. So we met from our husbands.
So it's like
both the behind the scene men that you saw just now.
So it's kind of like
they know each other.
kind of bopian, right? Because the boys your husbands are hanging out together. That's why the wife also come along.
And we stay very near each other, and we are the life phase where our kids grew up at around the same age. So I think a lot of things connected us together.
Yeah, and that's why before we start, right? Actually, I was joking with Serene before Michelle was logging in. So I was joking that in fact I was going through the profile, right, of both of you. Like Serene has 2 boys, and Michelle had 2 girls, and the age gap is quite near. Because the eldest boy is 7. The eldest girl for Michelle is 4. So I think for men to be older by 3 years, okay lah. So both of you, have you both
want to matchmake our kids?
Matchmake your kids. And Serene was saying that the kids will have their own life, they will have different things. We don't have to matchmake and all that stuff. But which I believe also is to let them decide. But talking about being good friends, because of your husband being army friends, and both of you are now good friends and coming as business partners. What is it like working your good friend in the business? Yeah, now it's like really to share the truth behind a partnership, because I have seen a lot of partnership, even good friends going into business, and having a lot of problems and challenges. So maybe both of you can share some insights of good friends building business. Maybe you can start with Serene. You have any things that you like before? You heard a lot. I believe both of you heard a lot of partnership stuff, good friends coming into business, and a lot of people might advise you like, don't go into business with your good friend. I do not know whether you have advice like that. So what was it before and what is it after you really jump in and really build this business with your good friend?
I think both of us came in with the same ideation, and that's important. I mean, when we come in, we have to make sure that we are in line with what we want to do, so the outcome is pre-thought. So of course, when we are in the partnership, there's always differences. We always have different opinions on certain things. Yeah, and then we will work that out. Yeah, and everything that we have in discussion, I mean, it is good that we always document it. So
Black
yeah,
and
so
white.
sometimes black and white, and also because I have very bad memory, like I cannot remember what I said before. Yeah, I cannot remember what we discussed before. What was the exact same point that we used? What is the exact same words that we use? So we actually have Google. We use Google Docs very well.
On cloud.
All our ideas, all on cloud. All our initial ideas are there. So we could even see how our ideas, transform from, we were discussing about color palettes, how we want our website to be like, the initial color scheme that we like, the kind of a font that we want, everything in discussion that we had from our very, very first few ideas were written down. So the course that you attended, we actually had points. We came together. You remember, Michelle, we actually used Post-it pads, did the canvas. We took a photo, we documented all of this. And all of the events that we went to, we share about we share with each other about our points. We share with each other about our ideas, what could have worked, what couldn't have worked. Every event that we go to, the quick market that we went to, every little thing that we do, we are very intentional, and we always do the pre-discussion. We experience the thing, and then we do a post reflection. So I think all of these are important. That yes, it is a friendship, but yes, it's also a business, and when we document it, it feels official. Yeah, I think that works. I mean, it is different from just friends talking on WhatsApp. It is really, is something that we need to be accountable to each other. Yeah, it needs to be documented. Yeah, and the fact that both of us have kids, we are also very understanding of each other. Like when it comes to when they message me in like wee hours in the night, I wouldn't be able to answer, or I message them at different times of the day. One is feeding, one is changing the diaper and all that. I mean, we are understanding of each other. We give each other space. There's still deadlines that we meet, but there is also flexibility, and there's a lot of grace. Yeah, because we are mompreneurs, and all mompreneurs out there would know that the kids' times are really it's different from ours. And then when home-based learning kicked in, we are like, oh my gosh, like suddenly you have two kids at home.
It's not home-based anymore. It's parent-based learning.
Yeah, when circuit breaker kicks in, and all the kids are suddenly at home with you, and then we are not able to do things as quickly or respond as fast. Then we really have to just we had Zoom meetings, we had WhatsApp meetings, we had this and that. So I think we were flexible. So there are challenges definitely with every partnerships, and with every friendships. There are always challenges. When two people come together with our kids, there's also challenges, right? There's shoulder rubbings and all, but I think we are flexible, and because we document things, I think that gives us something to fall back on. It's something that I strongly recommend if anyone who is thinking of going to partnerships with 2 people, 3 people. When there's documentation, it's easier for us to refer. And when there's ambiguity, we just discuss.
Yeah, that's good. I totally agree with you on the transparency, especially as partner. Everything have to be written down, documented down. It's not like, hey, you see that thing, you remember not? Like, what did I say? The kind of stuff. There will not be any argument, because all these are being documented down. Even like this interview is being documented down, so eventually you can watch it again. But how about Michelle? So what is your thought on this, like good friends into partnership, into building a business together? What is your your take? Yeah.
I think the best part about being mompreneurs is that we have our own, we can actually plan our own time. Like what Serene said, it's like we are very flexible. So it's like, even though like we have slightly different schedules, like I said, for when we are taking care of our kids. Yeah, so it's when there are times when we need to eat or need to cook, stuff like that. So, but if there's anything like on our mind, we can just WhatsApp each other. But it's like you don't need to really like answer immediately. Like you can actually reply each other at your own time. Yeah, because and also we work like different hours as well. It's like we just communicate with each other through WhatsApp, and anything that's very important, like really like content. So we already put in the Google Doc. So we actually work together from there, and it's very good. Like it's live, so if there are any changes that we can see on the spot. Yeah, and also I think another key thing that's I find is very important as well is we actually respect each other. Yeah, and that actually help us to, I mean, in this partnership or to do this business. Yeah, and we also like form our 3 values for our business. It's like it's like sincerity, purpose, and integrity. Yeah. So it's like anything about the business, we actually fall back on these 3 values. Yeah, to make our decisions.
That was actually one of the first few things that we came up with. Like, when we wanted to start a business, we have to be very sure that everything that we do in the business actually is aligned to our values: integrity, sincerity, and as well as, what was the third one? Integrity, purpose. Sincerity, and purpose.
Yeah.
Wow. So I've never knew that until like you guys have just shared with me, because value is something that is very, very important. Like the 3 values that you guys shared also resonate with me, and in fact I have 12 values. Yeah, this one I can share it later. And because for business, the core thing is to get both partnership together. And what I see in a lot of past partnership of because I work with a lot of mompreneurs, I see a lot of failed partnership also. And the reason is because they don't share the same value. Everything was not being squared out. A lot of things is not being like being fixed in the first place, because they thought all this thing is mutual. I know, then that's it. But the problem is not everybody know what you're thinking, and things will evolve. So when you have this value that really, like, you really have this root, like you really plant it, you really put it there, and eventually when your business grew, when you start hiring people, these will be the values that will continue with them, the culture, and also the understanding. You don't have to tell them that you have to be you need to have some integrity, because it's inside the value. So coming to Michelle, because for you, right, Lovebots is not your first business. You have your wedding photography business. So why did you start Lovebots together with Serene while you're already running your wedding photography business? Yeah, maybe you can share with the audience, because this is not your first business and you decided to jump into it, although you have been thinking about it. But because as a businesswoman, you also understand that you need to put the time and effort into it. And I also understand that wedding before the circuit breaker, like it's an industry that's what I call evergreen. That almost every week there's someone getting married, because all the hotels are being booked. So why did you choose to jump into Lovebots, and also at the same time when you have your wedding photography business?
Okay. Because I knew that I can't be a wedding photographer like forever. So it's like I need to know what's my backup plan, or like another thing that I can also do at the same time. Then that's when I also think it's like different phase of my life. So it just happened like, after being a mom.
Because you get married already, then you do wedding photography, then you have children already, then you do Lovebots. Then when they grow older, then what will you be doing?
I don't know. We shall see.
Which is good.
We never know where life takes us, right?
Correct.
We will just be flexible.
Yeah. And also because my kids are young, so my girls are young, so that's why it's like I find that being Lovebots is so meaningful, and I found like this purpose is so fulfilling. Yeah, so it's like now I'm so happy. It's like I can sleep like very happy, or I wake up very happy, because I'm like doing my passion, like doing what I love. Yeah, so even though how hard I work, it's like it's all for for my girls and to help moms out there is like, yeah, it's really very
meaningful, fulfilling.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So because of that, right? Okay, because I'm going to ask a question, but I felt that I should not ask. It's like meaning that doing wedding photography is not fulfilling anymore. Is that?
No, it's not fulfilling.
Right.
It's not that it's not fulfilling, but it's just
different phrase.
Different phase of my life, and also which one I want to focus on. So I can still do wedding photography. I can still take photos for couples and families. But at the same time, like I think I want to like devote more time for loved ones.
Yeah, because you're at that phase now, right? Because your kids are growing, 4 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And normally weddings takes place at the weekends, and the kids are home at the weekends. So I think, for her, I mean, it was a natural transition. It was very difficult to plug herself and her husband out from the kids to do wedding photography, and come back. The kids will be sleeping and all that. It will be it's a different phase in life.
Yeah, so I also want to spend more time with my girls. Yeah, because every shoot. We actually because me and my husband shoot together. We're husband and wife team, so we have to like do a lot of planning and logistic. Need to ask our moms to help us to take care of them, and it's time away from the children. So we even cut back our shoots. Like last time we can do back-to-back shoots Saturday and Sunday, but now no. We only take one shoot per weekend, and after that actually now because of the COVID-19 situation, so actually it's a blessing like that. Actually, I started Love Bonds before the COVID-19.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
I think
so now,
things happen for a reason. And you mentioned because when you got married, that's where wedding photography comes in, like at that season. And now because you're a mom, you have evolved your business. You founded something that is more meaningful. That is, you can connect with your children, and that is what I would say mompreneurs basically will change. Like for you, you got married and you did wedding photography, and when you became a mom, the wedding photography doesn't make sense because of the weekends, because of preparations, and you are not able to attend to your children, or no one is taking care of them. So that's why Love Bonds basically fit into that mompreneurship lifestyle for you. Because before that you were just a women entrepreneur, but it has evolved because having children, you basically transit into a new business model that allows you to fulfill both your mother and also as an entrepreneur at the same time. So coming to Serene, this is something that I believe that a lot of audience, because you were an educator for many years, and to leave the educator job and to jump straight and now 100% into Love Bonds, into entrepreneurship. How was it for you in that count? I believe that there's an emotional struggle. Like most of us know that, okay, all these are what we call iron rice bowl. The benefits are there. Even maybe the insurance also covered, or the health benefits also covered your family, and maybe the bonus is also good. And like all that aside, why did you decided to do it? Like Love Bonds has only been around for a year plus.
Less than that.
Less than that. Yeah. So it's like building a business that is less than a year, and suddenly you left it, and now you are coming into this. So this is something that I'm personally very curious. I believe a lot of mothers, you must be really, really brave and courageous to really put everything aside. It's like suddenly it's like everything aside and jump into this. Yeah. So maybe you can share with the audience, and also even for me to cure my curiosity. What makes that switch? Because it's really hard, because it's two different things, and one is very, very comfortable, and the other one, entrepreneurship, as you have a bit of taste of it now, you know that it's not very comfortable. So maybe you can share with us what made that switch.
Sure. I mean, I was an educator, right? So I really am an educator at heart. I mean, even in my school, I enjoy teaching very, very much. I really enjoy my students. I have the most excellent colleagues. I have school leaders who are supportive of the things that I do. But in the school that I was in, I was actually specializing in character education. So in my many years there, I actually write curriculum for citizenship and character education lessons. I implement cohort-wide sessions for children, for JC students on CCE. And I do a lot of circle time with my students in the class, and I train teachers to be able to do such circle time with the students and all that. And I find all that extremely meaningful, to be able to empower teachers to have meaningful conversations with their students in the classroom. Now, to leave all that, and to come out, I don't think it's a total leave. Yes, I am taking a different role. So instead of writing lesson plans for teachers to educate students, now I'm actually writing lesson plans or conversation guides or conversation starters, or empowering parents to have meaningful conversations with their children. So I'm essentially still an educator. I have been an educator. I'm an educator at heart. I'm just doing it for a different audience. And it's something that is extremely meaningful because I have so much passion for this. So whether it's 2 students or 2 children, I believe that my outreach, or rather the impact I'm going to have, is generational wide. So now if I'm educating parents, it's something that I am in the position of being a parent myself. It's something that I know and can experience together with the parents. So, well, is it a risk to leave all that and suddenly come into to be a mompreneur? Well, it is. There's always a risk. It was a painful decision for me to have to leave, the education. But I do know the experience that I've gone through, and the things that I've done within the school, within the school system, allows me to then position myself to be in this role where I am in, and to be able to effectively, present myself as empowerment to the parents. So it's risky, yes, but I also know that there's a time and season for everything, and this season is a season that I want to be with my children, and I want to be able to be intentional in reaching out to parents.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. I like you mentioned, you are still an educator, but now the platform have been different. Now you're educating different group of people, which is parents, yourself, and also a lot of other parents. But I guess the audience might be, okay, for me personally, also curious, also interested. We know that we can't live on passion and purpose. The realistic part is still the bread and butter.
Yes.
So how has it what is it for you that you jump in, or you already calculated like the basically there will be a loss of income, definitely.
Yes.
And also everything is now on your husband, and was there a discussion between you and your husband, and how was it like for him to hear that, hey, you're going to leave this educator, the what we call the iron rice bowl, and also hopping into something that is a question mark? So how
Well, yeah, you're right. No, it was not an easy decision. Personally for me, it was hard, right? So when, I'm very close to my husband, right? So when we talk about it, and when we really, me and my husband are math trained, like both of us are math teachers, right? So, we come up with Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, he came up with Excel sheet, he calculated and said, financially we are able. So we are able. So in the business, of course, we do want to be able to reach out. So like you said, purpose in itself is not able to drive, right? So we also we have to make it work, and well, it will work because we see that the market is there. There are many parents, who are very keen and who really want to know. So when we, came up with resources, as well as we curate books and magazines that actually reaches out to parents, that empower them to have meaningful conversations with their children, it was extremely well received. So we do know that yes, it is a risk, but it's a calculated risk. And when we are meeting the needs of the market, we are confident and we are sure that it will work. It is not just a airy fairy fluffy idea. It is a airy fairy fluffy idea that will take concrete plans to implement, because it's something that we know will reach out to the hearts of people. There is a need, and there's no one supplying this need.
Correct.
So I think we are positioned well to be in this market, to be able to reach out to the parents who are keen to know.
Wow. So in fact, coming up from you, right, and coming up from your husband, that both of you are like very they're educator and also math trained and all the Excel sheet, more practical. You calculate all the risks and all that stuff. I guess for a lot of parents, even for mothers who want to start business, it's not about the passion, it's not about the purpose. Because as parents, you have your kids, you have the mouth to feed. You need to really plan out properly.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you shared that and with all the audience that is watching, because a lot of time I see a lot of mompreneurs jump into business because very emotional, very fulfilling, in the end struggle because they thought this is what the market wants. There wasn't a time that they are testing out this product, or even to test out the market. Like you mentioned, a very, very important thing is supply and demand.
Yeah.
You see that there's demand for this because you guys test out this idea. Now you are seeing a lot of responses. You're seeing that parents need this, and you know that there's lack of supply. And to be frank, because I'm also happy for you, because as an educator, the content, everything comes from you, and you will be able to feed more because now you're being full time on it. And one thing I want to share with the audience is when I met both of you, right, is I felt that wow, both of you like the perfect match. Why? Because your strength and weaknesses is totally opposite. One is very structured, the other one is very creative. And I was sharing with both of you that why not combine these two together. And I was surprised. I was how should I put it? I was proud because both of you came out with something that only both of you can come up with. The beautiful style, the beautiful side, the aesthetic side, the creative side, the design and the content which is coming out from Serene. And now both of you can come together and really create more content to meet the market demands. This is something that I felt that you mentioned, the supply and demand is calculated. There's a potential. It's only how much you can spend on it. And with you coming in 100% to really feed the market with this content and the things that need the conversation, and more things that you guys will be coming up. I'm really excited of how much you guys can deliver and empower more parents with. So having said that, so like when you guys thought of this love bonds, right, you were saying that about the values, the education and bondings. So maybe you can share with us, like the topic of today is the top 3 tips on how to have meaningful conversation with their children. But before you share the tips, right, maybe you can share with us from your observations of parents, what are the common, I would say, the no that parents are doing or having conversation with their children. What is the no for them?
Okay, I wouldn't say no. I mean, any conversation that you have with your children is great. I mean, conversations lead to connection, but maybe I will just focus on what exactly are meaningful conversations, right? So actually, meaningful conversations are conversations that leave us feeling like something inside us has changed for the better. Something has been learned either on the part of our child or ourselves, and we walk away from such conversations knowing that there's a deeper connection between you and your child. Yeah. So, I mean, because connection and conversations with children always happens throughout the whole day, and we always have been, connecting with our children. Okay. Yeah. And I really like this research that I read. I mean, this research says that for healthy relationships, there is a ratio of positive to negative interactions. Okay, so actually for one negative interaction that you have with your child, can you guess like how many positive interactions you should have in order to counteract that one negative interaction? Wow. I mean, for those who are tuning in, I think you can, you can comment, what do you think would be a good ratio, or what do you think would be, how many positive interactions do you need in order to counteract one negative interaction?
Wow.
Maybe Kenneth, we want to give it a try. What do you think?
7.
Okay. Well, according to research, right? According to this research, which is by Lisita, it's actually 5:1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you're higher, which is better. Okay. So actually, for any healthy relationships, whether it's parent-child, for married couples, for a very simple negative interaction, for example, like giving your child a dagger stare. Yeah, sometimes the child,
Deaf
the
stare,
child will
not
feel
dagger.
affected. Dagger stare, like, hey,
Yeah.
sit down.
Ching.
Yeah, you need actually 5 positive interactions. Yeah, so we want to be able to encourage more of the positive interaction, and not just positive as in hugs or anything, but meaningful ones that allow us to walk away from such conversations feeling that there's a deeper connection and there's a change. Yeah. So I thought that was very important for me. I mean, I am also very mindful, whenever sometimes there will be negative interactions, right? Like just this morning, okay, it was interesting. My son was having, I was having breakfast with my son this morning, and then he spilled his milk.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of mothers will go crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? A lot of mothers will go crazy. So, but I didn't. I was like, he naturally, he spilled his milk. Then he looked at me. In his eyes, you could see that he was waiting for a response. So I looked at him and I smiled. Then he just no response. He just hopped off from his chair. He went to take a towel and he cleaned up. Okay, that was great.
So
I didn't say anything.
Your silence already cute.
I smiled at him.
Ah.
I smiled at him, yeah. So instead of like picking it up, I didn't do anything. He looked at me. He was waiting for a response. I smiled at him. He just hopped off. He's 3 years old, right? So he hopped off from his chair. He took a towel. Then he came and cleaned it up.
I think you need to talk to my wife because my wife this morning just had that stare. It's like because my daughter was eating her biscuit, and she was the crumbs are all over the place on
table,
her school
right?
uniform, and she was like, then because I was still sleeping. Then after that voice woke me up. I was like, what happened? Then I jumped out from it. I said, what happened? Yeah. So in fact, it affected me. Yeah. So I jumped out and said, what happened? Then I was like, 这样小件的事, it's like such a small matter. Like she.
Yeah, but small matters does affect, right?
It's like okay, because I understand my daughter. She's more emotional. Like imagine early in the morning, your mood is being spoiled. Yeah. Although she's a very positive girl, but it's like if I were her, I would feel so bad. I done something wrong. Go to school. That means you start the day bad. So like you mentioned, it's like the smile will just, because kids are smart now. When you smile, they know what they need to do. You don't have to give that treatment that.
Yeah.
I think Serene's kids are well trained.
No. I have had moments.
Yeah, I know, but because it's a journey, like you have been teaching them like all the time.
Young,
Yeah, so they know what to do already. And when you say that your son, I thought it's Azel, I thought it's a 7 years old. Wow, now when you mention it's 3 years old, wow, I'm so impressed.
Yeah, but well, since Kenneth, you mentioned about the morning, the negativity. Actually, I just want to share also another research that actually has this. There are actually 3 most important times of your child's day that you can make use of it in order to connect better with your children. Yeah, and there are 3 most important times. Okay, you want to guess?
Morning. Morning.
Yeah, actually.
Sleep.
Yeah, actually true. Okay, the first one is actually the first 3 minutes after your children wake up. Yeah, the first 3 minutes. And it could be very, very simple, positive interactions. Like, you greet them with a smile. This morning, my son woke up I told Kenneth, right? So this morning, my son woke up at 7:45. He climbed into my bed. He sleeps at in his own bedroom. So he climbed into my bed and he just snuggled with me. So, that snuggle was, I don't know how many minutes because I was still sleepy, right? So he snuggled with me. And then after he started talking, he was telling me about his dream. He said, Mommy, yeah, he was telling, I don't know whether it's 梦话 or, whether he's really awake enough, but he was telling me, I could vaguely hear it because I was still sleeping. Mommy, Mommy, my ducky, right, went to swimming and then I only heard ducky went to swimming. Yeah, oh, really? I was still sleeping. But I thought, first 3 minutes after your children wake up is important. Is that connection, whether you give him a hug, whether you ask him a question or he tell you what's happening in the dream. It's a positive 3 minutes that we should make use of. Yeah. Then the next 3 minutes is actually 3 minutes after your kids arrive home from school or when you first pick up your child. Yeah, that first 3 minutes is extremely important. Because now I'm a mompreneur, so I can pick my kids up from school, from the childcare and from primary school. So when I receive them, it's always a hug. It's there's no need. They will straight away come and then they will hug me. It's a natural thing. And for my older one, and both my older and younger one, I always like to ask them conversation starters. That was something that I've been doing since young and they are very well trained. But then now I changed it, okay? Instead of asking them when they come home, I actually ask them before they leave from school. And I find that that's actually more effective because they get to think about the question throughout the time that they are in school, and they look forward to tell me when they come back. Not all the time, but I think most of the time, they will be happy to share something with me. So like this morning, I asked my son, like the 3-year-old one, okay, so think about what is going to make you smile today. So share about what will make you smile when you come home from school later. And for my older one, my husband actually brings him to school. So I write it in his snack box. Primary 1 kids, they have snack box, right? So I'll write conversation starters on his snack box. So so I wrote, think about what is going to make you smile today. And then he will come back and share lah. But I don't ask him about it. He will naturally share within the day, or if he doesn't, then before he sleeps, we will talk about it. So the last interaction that you should have with your kids to have a very, very strong, close bonding is actually the 3 minutes before they go to bed, like what Kenneth said, So the waking up, the sleeping, and actually the coming back from school. And actually, for me personally, I find that the few minutes before they go to bed is the most important. Because that's when they wind down for the day, and that's when they are able to share with you, their innermost feelings and all. And I like that for our family identity is we have nightly reflection times. All 4 of us, my husband, myself, and the 2 kids will be, on in this exact room. This is my kids' room. It's our happy place. Okay, we will sit around and we will talk. We will have our nightly reflections. So all the while we've been asking them, either conversation questions, either from our conversation starter cards, or actually questions that, my kids want to ask. So yesterday, my son decided to ask a question. Okay, mommy, today I will start the question. I said, sure, what's the question that you want to ask? He said, okay, when is the last time that we cried? Yeah, so that was interesting. Okay, that was interesting. I was like, wow, what made you have this question? Yeah, then he said, yeah, because I cried this morning. I said, oh my, I didn't even know that you cried this morning, right? Yeah, so he wanted to share that. That's why he asked that question. So, and I always feel that, the few minutes before they sleep is important because they end the day well, and they end the day with you, and they end the day reflecting the day with you. And some parents ask me, when do you start, this nightly reflections thing? Actually, I started the moment they are born.
Yeah.
Like before, right? Because that's the easiest, because when they are babies, they cannot object to anything. So before they sleep, naturally you'll be feeding them, naturally you'll be bathing them. I think these times we can have a monologue. Right, you talk to them about your day. It's a monologue, right? You talk to them about your day, how you feel, what you have gone through, what are the conversations you had with your friends. And as we build these conversations as monologue,
Serene, are you there? We are losing you. Serene, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, can't hear Serene.
Hey guys, I guess there's some maybe technical stuff on Serene's side. So maybe meanwhile waiting for Serene. Serene, can you hear us? Are you in with us? Okay, the connection, yeah. Serene, can you hear us? Hello. So maybe meanwhile Serene get connected back. Maybe Michelle can share with us, maybe like love bonds have been around for less than a year. So what has it changed? What has it evolved? Like from the initial part when you guys founded and now, what has it changed?
How has it changed?
Yeah, okay. Serene is back. Yeah, so what has it changed for love bonds since the beginning? Yeah, welcome back, Serene. Yeah, we're asking Michelle meantime while you come back to us, is that what has love bonds evolved have changed since in the beginning to now?
From the beginning, we've actually it's more of curating products. We actually like the books and magazines, and we create our own resources. Like it's the conversation guides that comes with each and every books and magazine. So it's like what kind of question you can actually ask that is related back to the storyline of the book or magazine. And we also have conversation starters. So all these are like physical products. So actually like upcoming, and we are also in the preparations that we actually want to help more parents out there, empower more parents. So what can we do more than that? So we're thinking of like creating a course. So it's like a 4-week course. So actually it's like we can journey together with them, like hold them like hand like really hold them by the hand and really like then we can have like coaching call and stuff like that. So it's like really can help them even better. Yeah. So I think it's a bit of evolving into like the online education course. And also at the same time supplement with our own products that can also help.
Yeah. Rather than just having the product, then they might not know how to continue after that. Right? It's to really guide them how to fully utilize the things, the tools that you guys have created, and also educate them to make it as a habit. Because like what Serene had mentioned, like since they were young, you really started them with this night gathering or night talk, and now they are pretty big. Like your eldest is 7 and your youngest is 3, so they are really conditioned or like what Michelle says, trained. Because for me personally, I also believe in you can condition your kids in that manner as long as you start them right. A lot of this is what I realized. A lot of parents they will say, "Oh, my kids cannot do this, cannot do that," because they don't believe in conditioning their kids or even so-called train their kids to have that habit. You say, "Oh, my kids don't do that," because in the first place you never even started. So that's the key thing. That and what you guys have mentioned, like what upcoming you having this course, is also to tell parents that hey, it's not too late to start. It's rather than you start then you don't start at all. Because when the kids start to grow up, when they reach teenager, then that's it. Because now my daughter is 11 years old. So I'm glad that I've done it since young, like all the good habits and stuff like that. So she, even for doing homework, like a lot of my friends been screaming and nagging and say, why aren't their kids doing their homework? Why they need to nag and stuff like that? Because they did not start right also. Because why would children hate studying? Because they don't like the nagging. So that is where I share with a lot of them that you don't even have to nag. You have to give them a way to enjoy learning, enjoy studying. That is a happy thing, is an enjoyable thing. So how about for Serene? What have you realized that love bonds has evolved from the beginning to now?
Okay, maybe I'll just touch a little bit about what you mentioned. Yeah, you're right that it is really about habits, and habits come from creating a family culture.
Yeah.
I think more than just training, it's really we want to be able to help families to have a family culture that encourages conversations, encourages growth, and encourages learning together as a family. So yeah, I mean, I'm strong in this. Like, you know, in our family, we are also very open to share about things that are negative and not nice. Yeah, so I mean, it's a family culture. So, you know, if something has happened in the family and it's something that is difficult to talk about, we talk about this. It is exactly the difficult topics that we want to talk about. So topics like what? So for example, you know, when somebody in the family passed away, yeah, instead of shining away from it, we face it blank front. You know, I tell my kids, you know, okay, one of our grand uncles passed away. I said, okay, you know, darling, this is what happened. So I tell them facts. We allow them to moan, you know, or ask questions, and then we talk about it. And even the latest conversation about the George Floyd, whatever is happening in the US, I mean, I talk to my kids intentionally about current affairs, and it's a daily thing. It's a family culture. You know, we have newspapers in both 2 languages. It's Straits Times and Chinese news, but I only can read the English news. But my parents-in-law read the Chinese news. So we talk about, you know, Straits Times news. We talk about current affairs. We on the news at 6:30 every night, every evening, to listen to the Chinese news, to watch about different things, and we talk to our kids. So even like, you know, returning the kids back to school when circuit breaker ended and then they are supposed to return back to school, you know, we talk about wearing the mask and all that. And I thought that this was interesting. Okay, and this is the second tip. I mean, okay, the first tip was actually about conversation starters, right? So good conversation starters actually spark conversations between you and your child. So the second tip I'll share about is actually good open-ended questions. It is important to start questions and to also have open-ended questions to allow conversations to deepen. So good open-ended question actually allows for this to happen. So for example, all right, so you know, when we were actually returning the kids to the school, we actually had to train our children to wear the mask.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have to wear the mask the whole day. So, you know, we started by wearing for 4 hours first. Yeah. And then it was uncomfortable. My 7-year-old didn't like it. My 3-year-old didn't like it. And then so it was uncomfortable. But then they understood the need for the mask and why they had to wear it. Okay. But then I asked them, you know, so actually my 3-year-old didn't want to wear. He was like, after 1 hour, he said, Mommy, it's so hot. I don't want to go to school. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. So I asked, you know, what do you think will happen if everyone don't wear masks? I asked this to my 3-year-old. So what do you think will happen if everyone don't wear masks? Then he says, oh, you know, then people will have coronavirus. I say, yeah, it's true. Then if you are a healthy person and a sick person coughs, how would you feel? Because he knows that, you know, when people cough and then, you know, when the bacteria and the virus falls on surfaces and you touch the surface, you know, you will get the coronavirus, right? He knows all about this. And then, you know, he said, oh, you know, then I will feel scared. I said, yeah. And then now I told them, you know, the problem is that now people who are sick don't know that they are sick, right? Because coronavirus infection is usually asymptomatic, right? So it can be spreading in the community without us even knowing about it. So, and then I asked him, you know, so what would you do if you were the parent of your friend? Would you still want to send, you know, your friend to school? He said, no. So yeah, when we ask such good open-ended questions for them to realize for themselves that, hey, you know, wearing the mask is important. When they understand the why, I think the how becomes easier. So, you know, he still finds it difficult to wear, but he understood the need to wear. It was definitely easier for that to happen. And then the last question I actually asked my 7-year-old, you know, if you were the government, okay, what advice would you give? Would you advise for people to wear face mask or face shield? Because he knows that face shield protects, but not 100%.
Yep.
So if you were the government, what would you advise? And then he said, I would advise those with respiratory problems to wear face shield, those without to all wear face masks. I said, oh, that's interesting. You know, you're taking the perspective of another person. And if you're thinking this way, and that's exactly what our government is trying to advocate, right? That everyone who is able to wear face masks. And, you know, if you have difficulties, then, you know, there could be exceptions or you stay at home. But otherwise, you know, there is a need for why there are certain decisions to be made. Yeah, so good open-ended questions and asking our children to predict what will happen. Yep. What would you do if this was happening to your country? What would you do if you were the parent of another child? What does this remind you of? Open-ended questions like that do lead to deeper connection and deeper understanding between you and your child. Yeah.
So thanks for sharing the tips. Time really flies, and maybe you can share with us, because you talk about the essential soft skills that is important. So what are the essential soft skills that you believe that kids should equip them? That means parents should impart them with the essential soft skill. So what are the essential soft skills that that you are referring to?
Emotional intelligence. I mean, that is one that we strongly advocate for. Yeah, and these few days I've been very mindful about active listening. Yeah, I mean, even from the George Floyd incident, yeah, personally, I'm also listening. I'm also finding out more. I'm also researching, and I'm making sure that, you know, the information that I talk to with my kids are information that are valid and are information that will allow them to be able to think on their own and synthesize information that is from so many other places. So active listening and emotional intelligence.
Wow, good. So time really flies. I really want to keep both of you here to really have more conversation and maybe to share with the audience. So maybe we can just say hi to a few of the guests, people that are tuning in. There's Gina, there's Hiyoka, there's Sue, there's John, there's Jane, there's Karen.
Hello.
Michelle Tay is also tuning in. There's Lisa, there's Elsa, there's also Mark, there's Eleanor, there's Nick, there's Melvin. So thanks for those who are tuning in. If you have any question, you can always drop in the comments for us. If not, if you are shy, what you can do is you can connect with Michelle and Serene over at their at Le Bon's social media handles. So maybe before maybe you can share with the audience, like how can they get connected with you, like with loved ones or anything that can find out to how to have that meaningful conversation with their children. So how can they get connected with you guys?
Okay, we are extremely active on our Instagram, Love Bonds SG. So that's where we actually share a lot of our own happenings in our home. We also share tips about how we use resources. We are also very open to hear about what parents have to say, questions that parents have to say. And even in the Instagram, we are also very honest about the situations that happen in our home. So we live by the values that we strongly believe in, right? So our values are integrity, purpose, and sincerity. So we are very strong in our purpose to have meaningful conversations with our children and with the parents who are with us on our Instagram. That's our very strong purpose. We are very sincere in reaching out to all the parents who are connecting with us, and we are sincere in reaching out to the children who are with us. And we definitely really want to be able to speak with anyone who wants to speak with us. And we are very, very open and vulnerable even in our sharing. Our kids are not angels all the time. Our conversations are not always extremely deep. Sometimes we get into trouble because we're tongue-tied. But then, we reflect about them and we think about them, and we always ask ourselves, what can we do better in asking good questions, in asking Socratic questioning, in asking critical thinking questions, even in connecting with them. And I think the most important tip that I really want to leave with us is to be vulnerable with our children. To be able to share personal stories and feelings of insecurities with our children, because when we are able to be personal and vulnerable with them, that's when they can be personal and vulnerable with us. And when we are able to create that as a family identity, they will grow up to be teenagers, to be adults who are willing to be able to share with their parents, whom they are now the mentors, their challenges, their weaknesses, and to ask for advice. So I think our personal narratives is something that we really want to be able to share with our children. And that is one of the easiest and the closest that we can get to allow our children to share with us.
Wow.
Yeah,
so that's the last tip.
Yeah, and sometimes we do share some of the things that we do with our kids, or what our kids are doing on our stories, or some of the behind the scenes stuff. So you can just pop in and connect with us on our Instagram.
And also to have and also have meaningful conversation with them to really understand, because both Serene and Michelle, they are very passionate about sharing, about helping parents to have meaningful conversation with their children. And this is something that they felt that a lot of parents might not know, because parenting, there's no manual, there's no guidebook, there's nothing at all. So whatever we learn from parenting is basically from our parents. And if you realize that most of our parents are not very conversational, they do not know, they only ask you have you eaten and all that stuff. So we have very conditioned in it. But nowadays, when children are getting educated, they are smarter now, it's better for us to learn how to have meaningful conversation. And coming from loved bonds, definitely you can have that, because they have conversational starter to really guide you to have meaningful conversation. And it's like there's 24 cards, there's different questions that you can post it out to your children, and ultimately to create this habit. I'm so thankful for both of you that you come on today. Maybe Serene, can you do a recap of the 3 tips that you want to share with the audience?
Sure.
Before we wrap up.
So the first is to ask good conversation starters, because when we actually ask good conversation starters, it sparks meaningful conversations rather than, how's your day? Have you finished your home-based learning homework, right? So you ask questions about what is something that made you happy today? What is something that you fear? What makes a friend good? What is the funniest thing you heard? And then the second tip is to ask good open-ended questions. So what happened, So could you tell me, what were you wondering, and what would you care to share with me the story of something that happened in school? Would you tell me the story of, I'm wondering if, something like that. So that open-ended question really allows our kids to deepen conversations with us. And tip number 3 is to be vulnerable with our children. When we ourselves have gone through a terrible day, or we have gone through a frightful day, or we have done something that, is something that we should be reflecting on. We share such personal stories and feelings of insecurities with our children, because that's when we are able to connect with them at a deeper level, and they will also open up to us. And that really allows us to have this survival skill called wholeheartedness. I mean, I was reading an article that talks about wholeheartedness, and that resonates with me. So yeah, these 3 simple tips, and make full use of the 3 most important times that you have with your children: when they wake up, when they come back from school, and before they sleep.
Wow, that's a very, very good. You have shared with us the 3 tips to how to have meaningful conversation with our children, and thanks a lot. For those who want to connect with them, you can look out for them in the description. I've included all their links, their social media handles. You can get connected with them. You can check out what are the books that they have, the meaningful books that share on values. At the same time, also the conversational starter. So you can check out their website. Yeah, so it comes in a very, very interesting packaging. So you guys will totally love it. I believe your children, they will love it at the same time. And last but not least, now it's time for both of you to ask the question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So maybe who's going to ask that question of the day? Serene or Michelle?
Michelle?
Okay. The question is, share about a meaningful conversation that you most recently had with someone whom you care about.
Wow, that's very long. Okay. Give me a while. Slow down, because I need to write.
Share about a meaningful conversation.
A meaningful conversation
that you most recently had.
That you most recently had.
With someone whom you care about.
Someone whom you care about. Okay, cool. Wow. So this is the longest question of the day that I have so far after doing like 71 episodes. This is the longest and the most meaningful question of the day, which is so for those who are tuning in, thanks for tuning in. And the question of the day go out to all of you and also to the next guest. So next guest to catch this. So the question of the day posted by Love Bonds by Michelle and Serene is, share about a meaningful conversation that you had that you
most recently had.
Okay. So share a meaningful conversation that you most recently had with someone who you care about. Okay. Yeah. So this question of the day go out to the audience and also to the next guest. So next guest, get ready. And last but not least, maybe last advice for the audience or the mothers who are thinking of whether they should pursue their passion and step into entrepreneurship. Any last advice from each of you? Maybe Serene first.
Okay, I mean, I will ask every parent, every mompreneur, what is something that you want your children to always remember you by? So if it is the business that you are going into and you want your children to remember you by that, by all means, go ahead.
Okay. Michelle, what would be your last advice for the mothers who are thinking of whether they should step into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so for those of you, especially mothers who are thinking to pursue your passion, start with your why. Like, what's your purpose? And expect your purpose to be tested again and again throughout the years. So your why actually will be part of your branding and your own unique stories that will differentiate yourself from the market. So your why will actually like help you to get through those tough times. Yeah. And maybe also like one main thing to focus here is to get through the mental barrier of like, what do I sell? So it's like, instead of focusing on selling, maybe you can focus on helping. So the simplest way to create products is to answer the following 2 questions. So it's like, number 1 is, how can I help people? And number 2, how can I enhance people's life and add value? So I hope like this can help you kickstart some ideas.
Wow. That's really, really good advice from both Serene and Michelle. And thank you both for making time and coming on to my show finally after so long. And really good catch up and really get to know more about both of you and what Love Bonds have upcoming. Really excited. Do keep us posted. And last but not least, Kenneth here signing off with Love Bonds, Serene and Michelle. Thank you everyone for watching and thank you everyone for tuning in. And I shall see you guys in the next episode. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.